very wisdom, and that was good for me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, the audience, Tiffany's always been such a tremendous giftable retailer. So
Yeah.
so even if the younger audience never stepped foot into a Tiffany, chances are a Sweet 16, a birth, or a bat mitzvah or whatever, they might have received something in that blue box. So there was an introduction to some of the product that way.
Yeah.
Whereas, of course, very few people have ever received the Winston box, and Cartier might be a little bit more. Same thing with Graf. So yeah, they had that heritage of having a much more diverse product assortment and diverse price points to make it a giftable shop.
Yeah.
Whereas now you have these other retailers trying to do the same thing. They're trying to do the same thing, and they are doing it by bringing down average price points, by expanding on the fashion collections, trying to develop more giftable items. And ultimately, a lot of those items are then on their website. They're in their e-commerce channels, what they're trying to sell. Although they're still not, it's not a big category, but again, there's some sales, and then there's also the introduction to new clients through the internet.
Yeah. And what about
doing
direct versus doing with partners? Does that somehow a risk to sell, let's say, through Farfetch? Because maybe they sell Adidas sneakers, and you don't want maybe your rings or your necklaces to be sold on the same platform.
Well, I mean, most of the brands that we're talking about, they develop their own e-commerce platforms.
Right.
They're not working with anybody else. Even if you're, even in the lower price point retailers, they generally all have pretty robust e-commerce websites that are completely enabled. So you don't really see much. You don't see much of that. Like if you take for example Signet or Zales, same thing. These guys have been behind the trend, but they're trying to develop that now with not always just on their own, but in the case of Zales buying James Allen, which was a online diamond engagement e-commerce company, and so they're integrating it that way, but by taking on some of these other companies, which is definitely, I think, going forward, we're going to see more and more of that.
Yeah, and any specific region that you think is going to be stronger in that? Is it China? Is it the U.S.?
The thing that I've learned is that when it comes to the fine jewelry, luxury jewelry categories and watch categories, the further east you go from Dateline, from Europe, the longer, including in the United States, the longer it takes for certain trends to catch on. Of course, today with the digital age, things that might have taken 5 years to catch on in 5 days. But my experience with Japan and Asia and China is that they're always a couple of years behind the trend, and maybe it's a year or two, but they're always a little bit behind on the trend. The Chinese, of course, right now they're huge consumers of products online, with Alibaba and all of their internet commerce companies, but they still don't understand jewelry to the point where I think they're comfortable buying online. Jewelry is still the Western jewelry that we know and has been so successful both here and in Asia is still a bit of a mystery to a lot of people there. So I think the more people know about products, the more willing they are to buy online. The less they know, the less willing they're going to